Although only made up of around 1% of India's total population, Jainism is one of India's oldest religions, originating in India sometime around the 5th or 6th century BC. Due to its close proximity to religions like Hinduism and Buddhism, Jainism borrows from some of their beliefs. Jainism states that all living things have a jiva. The jiva is the soul of all living things. The ultimate goal for all Jains is the liberation of the jiva from the cycle of rebirth it's stuck in. This liberation is referred to as moksha. Those who have obtained moksha, therefore liberating their soul, are known as siddha. To obtain liberation, the karmas which entered the jiva must be purged. The Jain faith says that karma is attracted to the jiva by the actions of the jiva, most often the bad actions, such as stealing, killing, lying, etc. They believe that the more karma that is accumulated increases the likelihood that the jiva will commit more bad actions. Therefore, in order to reach liberation, all karmas must be purged. Jains don't believe in a creator god or that the universe was created at all. They believe that time is a cycle of ascents and declines with no beginning or end. In each individual time cycle, there are 24 jinas, meant to be role models to the rest of humanity. These 24 jinas, all of whom have obtained moksha, serve as the role models for the Jain faith. The most notable of these figures is the 24th and final jina, Mahavira. Mahavira is thought of by Jains as the man who reformed Jainism into what it is today. A notable addition of Mahavira is the inclusion of celibacy as the final vow in Jainism's 5 great vows.
The ideal goal for Jains is a monastic life. However, the Jainism religion also allows more casual faith, which allows someone to practice Jainism while still being an active member of society, with a family life as well as a professional life. These casual followers of Jainism are called lay followers. A monastic life entails becoming either a monk or a nun. These monks and nuns are known as Diksha. This monastic life is taken in order to further the Jain faith, hopefully bringing them closer to moksha. In order to take this next step, Jains must agree to live by the 5 great vows. The 5 great vows are non-violence, truth, non-stealing, celibacy, and non-possession. These 5 great vows are essential to the Jain's way of life. The most important of these vows is non-violence, or ahimsa. Ahimsa involves avoiding violence of any kind to any living organism. It is about the preservation of life regardless of whether or not the organism is a plant, animal, bug, etc. Any activity which promotes violence or harm in any shape or form is strongly discouraged. As a result, a majority of Jains adhere to a vegetarian diet. An example of how strictly Jains take this vow is best seen in Jain monks. Jain monks will wear a cloth covering their mouth to prevent swallowing flies. The swallowing of a living object as tiny as a fly would be considered a breaking of the principle of nonviolence. In addition to the 5 great vows, Jains are expected to achieve the 3 jewels of Jainism. The 3 jewels are right faith, right knowledge, and right conduct. Ideally, a Jain wants all 3 jewels to be in harmony with one another. By living the 5 great vows of Jainism, Jains hope to get closer to achieving harmony between the 3 jewels.
The main division in Jainism is between monastic life practices. The Jain monastic life is divided between the Digambara and the Svetambara. They also disagree on certain aspects of Mahavira's life, such as his birth, marriage, and death. The Digambara are the stricter sect of Jain monastic life. They believe that women can't achieve liberation without first being reincarnated as a man. They are completely naked and carry no possessions. They also believe that the original Jain scriptures were lost. Despite the fact that Digambara monks have sworn off all possessions, most carry around 3 objects out of necessity. The first object is the pichi. It's a broom made out of peacock feathers used to remove small insects. The second object is the kamandalu, which is a water pot containing clean drinking water. The third and final object is the shastra, which are the Jain scriptures. The Svetambara monks, unlike the Digambara, believe that women can indeed achieve liberation. They dress in white clothing and can carry possessions, although most only carry around 14 items on them. They also believe that some of the original Jain scriptures survived. The Svetambara monks, unlike the Digambara, believe that women can indeed achieve liberation. They dress in white clothing and can carry possessions, although most only carry around 14 items on them. They also believe that some of the original Jain scriptures survived.
Known mostly as a Hindu festival, Diwali is also celebrated by Jains. Although there are differences in why they are celebrating, in Hinduism, Diwali is a celebration connected to Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth and prosperity. In Jainism, Diwali is a celebration of when Mahavira achieved liberation. It is celebrated with the Festival of Lights. Representative of illumination, Mahavira's soul achieved upon liberation. Diwali is the festival occasion in which Jains are gathered together to light lamps, chant mantras, and sing hymns.
Taking place during the rainy season in India, Paryushana is the most important Jain religious festival. It lasts between 8 and 10 days, depending on what sect of Jainism you belong to. The purpose of this festival is for study, reflection, and purification. Over the 8 to 10 days, Jains will take on a simplified diet, with some even fasting. On the final day of the festival, the annual confession occurs. The Jains will confess any of their actions over the last year which have broken the 5 great vows. This confession is done in the presence of the entire community, not just in the presence of a Jain teacher. This confession actually serves 2 purposes for Jains. By confessing, Jains are granted forgiveness, and granting forgiveness to all living things. The following prayer, which is to be recited by Jains during the annual confession, encompasses what Paryushana is about. I grant forgiveness to all living beings. May all living beings grant me forgiveness. My friendship is with all living beings. My enmity is totally non-existent. Let there be peace, harmony, and prosperity for all.
One of the most sacred places for Jains are known as Starhas. They are usually located at the tops of hills and mountains. One of the most sacred places for Jains is the Samet Shikhar, or the Peak of Wisdom. It is believed to have been the place where 20 out of 24 Jains achieved liberation. Another place that is sacred to the Jain faith is the Shravana Beloga. Located here is a 58-foot tall statue of the son of the first Jaina. Every 12 years a special ceremony occurs, known as the head anointing ceremony, in which the statue is bathed in substances sacred to the Jain faith. A final place where it is sacred to the Jains is the Palatan, a city of temples located atop a hill. The city houses over 800 temples. It attracts thousands of pilgrims each year because of its connections to the first Jaina, who is believed to have completed a pilgrimage to Paltana 99 times. According to the Jain faith, Salakana is one of the most special vows a Jain can perform. It occurs when a Jain knows they are near the end of their life. The Jain will abandon all worldly possessions and fast themselves to death. This isn't a quick process. They will attempt to reach a complete peace of mind, meditating until their death. This process is meant to be giving up of the body, preventing the accumulation of new karmas, the purge of individuals' old karmas.